about 10 years ago, there was the big scare over the swine flu.
Yeah.
And that was, fortunately, it did not become the kind of global pandemic we had in 2020, 2021. But what happened then? Because that should have been a pretty big wake-up call, right?
Yeah, you'd think. You can go back and look at a Lou Dobbs CNN story that's on YouTube that I did 10, 11 years ago. My business partner was on Neil Cavuto with Fox News, and it's all the same stuff, just what's happening now. Everybody say, how did this happen? Why are we unprepared? Boy, we better fix this now. And when it was over, everybody went back to the same thing. We ended up firing 150 people that helped save a lot of hospitals. We had to raise $1 million to stay in business. We came right to the brink of going out of business because everybody went back to their Chinese and Mexican-made products. And let me say this. Even now, hospitals and GPOs are saying, "Yeah, we're gonna buy some American products, but we've got to, we have budgets, and we're gonna keep buying about 80% Chinese masks."
Oh my God!
Well, so give us.
Yeah, it's that bad. It's that bad. Yeah.
So that sounds crazy, but on the other hand, are they saving a substantial amount of money? Because how much does a hospital save, like a typical hospital save in their annual budget, buying Chinese masks versus American masks?
I don't know that off the top of my head, but listen to this. As you know, as everybody knows right now, billions of dollars of masks have been bought in the USA during this crisis. The governor of California spent $1 billion with $3 N95s.
Wait, sorry, $3 for an N95?
$3. He bought $1 billion worth of Chinese N95s for $3 a piece when I was selling them for 79 cents. Okay, here's the deal. Billions of dollars of masks have been bought this year in the last 18 months. The whole damn market is $150 million during peacetime. 150. So what's the savings on that? Let's just say that my products cost 30%, 40% less. Okay, what's that, $50 million? The whole damn problem for $50 million? It's awful. This is a tragedy. This happened for pennies. 6,000 hospitals, $50 million divided into 6,000 hospitals. We're not talking about a lot of money. I have said many times that America's hospitals and group purchasing organizations, cost savings to them is like crack cocaine. It trumps everything else, and they will risk their patients' lives and maybe not look that way and try to not think this is going to happen and try to pretend that they're making good decisions because they're reducing the price of healthcare. But it's all bullshit. They're endangering their patients to save pennies. They're chasing pennies to China, and they're putting their patients and their staff and Americans at risk to save pennies.
You sell masks, but I got to say right now you're making me pretty sick.
Oh.
Well, and part of the problem here too, think about it. What am I? When you boil it down, I'm a business owner, but I'm a mask salesman. So people will look at me and go, "Hey, nobody else is saying this. You're going to make some profit." I even had a reporter 6 months ago say, "Do you ever feel guilty about profiting off the misery of others?" And I said, "Well, does your cancer surgeon feel guilty about saving your life by removing your cancer?" Hell no, I don't feel guilty. We've crawled, my company, my business partner and I have crawled through a lot of broken glass. It's been damn hard. 15 years to get to $10 million in sales, almost going out of business, always trying to do the right thing and being ignored. And you say, okay, well, why did you do that? Why did you tell a story that nobody believed? Imagine it. Imagine a salesperson telling the same story for 13 years that nobody believes. It's the only story I had. And it was real and it was true. And I knew people were going to die. I couldn't stop. It was an obsession. I sent thousands of emails. I talked to everybody I could talk to. I was on the news countless times. And what would happen every time a flu would happen, a local camera crew would come out and say, "So are you selling a lot of masks?" And I'd say, "Yeah, but that's not the story, folks. The story is the mask supply is going to collapse. Americans are going to die." And then we get a president who makes fun of the pandemic, calls it a hoax, makes fun of masks, makes fun of people who wear masks. I mean, the whole thing was crazy, and it continues to be crazy. We've got people out now. I saw a news story last night. There's people, some state somewhere is setting up secret vaccinations so people can get vaccinated and their friends won't know, so their friends won't make fun of them. I mean, this is like a bad movie. I totally don't understand it. I don't understand the whole thing. It's sickening.
Well, I just like your whole speech about how like these, hospitals are putting people's lives at risk for pennies. Like that just makes me think like, oh, like all the talk about socialized medicine, like what would that really look like? It seems like it'd just be more the same kind of bureaucratic saving money over people's lives.
I don't know. I'm not qualified to answer that question. I'm just out here trying to stay in business and trying to survive. By the way, the last year and a half our business has been way up, of course, but it's starting to go down now. And all of the new mask makers, there's probably 50 of them. They're all going to go out of business. All of them.
When you say new mask makers, you mean American manufacturers?
American manufacturers that started up during the pandemic, either to make money or because they had a patriotic feeling. I think there were some of both. They're all going to go out of business. The peacetime market won't support them. They have substandard products. Their products cost too much, even against American-made masks. And the government is not planning on buying lots and lots of masks to make them survive. The government also has told me, and I talked to the White House. They are not going to. Our government doesn't have either the authority or the guts to ban Chinese masks. So now they're talking about the possibility of maybe subsidies or the possibility of tariffs. But I don't know. I said a minute ago that I started out as an altruist, and now my feeling now is I don't want to know about our nuclear program. If the folks in charge of our healthcare are this bad, I don't even want to know about the folks in charge of nukes.
I never thought about that, but now I will think about that every night I go to sleep.
I mean, I had the head of the National Stockpile, a guy named Greg Burrell, tell me face to face, right 3 feet away from me, that he didn't bother him that China controlled our mask supply.
Really?
Because
5-6 years ago, because it's cheaper. And we're saving money.
Okay.
But what boggles me about the money is, like you said, that it would only cost $50 million a year to buy Made in America, divided among 6,000 hospitals, right?
Yep.
So that's like $8,000 or $9,000 a year per hospital, which is like less than the cost of one surgery. It's such an insanely tiny amount of money compared to the tens of millions of dollars that are flowing through hospitals every year that I can't even comprehend why they would even bother trying to save that amount of money.
And versus the risk of having a authoritarian communist country that is at war with the United States have that kind of leverage over us.
Right. And then on top of that, like in 2020, remember those protests with like nurses and other healthcare workers who were like, protesting the lack of PPE, right? And I remember that being all over the news last year. You'd think that they would try to do something.
It gets worse.
Oh, good.
Right now. Yeah. I'm drowning in 95s. My warehouse is full of them. So are my competitors. And guess what? Some hospitals are still making their healthcare heroes, which, by the way, it doesn't cost anything to call somebody a hero, but it costs $1 to give somebody a respirator. They're making their healthcare heroes wear dirty respirators because it's still legal.
Oh,
geez.
Yeah.
No.
Right now, millions of respirators are available. Any hospital can buy respirators and allow their healthcare heroes to wear a clean mask every patient, which was the law before the pandemic. In an emergency, then the government said you can wear them longer. And now they're being made healthcare heroes are being made to wear masks multiple days to save money.
Oh my gosh, like an emergency order because there weren't any masks because no one was listening to you for the past decade. And now they're just like, hey, we can use this to save even more money. It's mind-boggling.
Welcome to my world. This has been my life for 13 years. And I would say things to myself and my wife like you just said all the time. This makes no sense. It's surreal. It's mind-boggling. How can this be? Why aren't people seeing this? It's not a big problem. In fact, I could send you 500 emails right now. I could go through my emails and send you 500 emails that I sent to politicians and people in government where I said, this doesn't cost money. I'm not asking you for money. I'm not asking you for orders. I'm asking you to acknowledge the problem and get on board. Say that this is a national security issue. And then I finally said, the last few years, I'm thinking, okay, people aren't doing it out of responsibility. How about fear? So then I started saying to hospitals, you're going to get sued. I'm out there making a lot of noise. I'm on the news. This is a problem. The government acknowledges this problem, and you've got your hands over your eyes and your ears. If people die, and it's determined that you could have prevented this, you could have given them proper PPE, but you didn't because you're saving money, you're in trouble. So, and I kept telling the last few years, I've been telling the government that, okay, guys, if you don't want to spend money, let's just scare them into it. You know, if they're not going to do it out of corporate or to be a good corporate citizen or to be moral, let's get the attorneys involved. Because think about it. If a hospital administrator is told by the government, not by Mike Bowen, mask salesman, told by the government, your mask supply is going to collapse, you're not going to be able to protect your employees, you're kind of liable for protecting your employees, just letting you know. You would think that the hospital's attorney goes, hey, maybe we ought to spend that $6,000 and buy American-made masks so we don't get our asses sued off when we can't protect our employees. But no, I couldn't even get people to do that. Now, one other thing, too. It's really scary. It's like the boy who cried wolf story. We've had SARS, we've had Ebola, we've had H1N1, we've had COVID. None of them we don't see dead people lying in the streets. It's not like the Contagion movie or the Outbreak movie. It's not scary. It's not scary enough. And I think that those 4 or 5 events are what people think a pandemic is. So when the big one does come, it's going to hit us like a freight train because people don't get it. They don't realize that there is the possibility that where 2 out of 10 people die instead of 2 out of 100. 3 out of 10 die. I think H5N1, one of the bird flus, it's like has a 50% kill rate. So we're playing games here, and politics involved, and that mess with our previous president dismissing everything. We have this unreal view of what we're dealing with here. And now we've got people not getting vaccinated. We've got the Delta variant, which is bad, but another variant could come out that's incubated in these non-vaxxers or Africa. Africa has 1.2 billion people. 1% are vaccinated, which leads me to think, folks, we're not at the end of this thing. I think we're in the eye of the storm. I really do. I think we're in this calm period in the middle of the hurricane. And because of the anti-vaxxers and because of variants and things popping up, I don't know. I'm really worried about the future.